Hey guys, Brad from Team Crimson here.
Zach the Great here, the best card fighter on planet Earth. No one is better than him, just saying.
His intros are going to get longer and longer as time goes on. So yeah, today we are with you and we're doing a set discussion because it's coming out in Japan tomorrow. Woo! V Extra Booster 02, Champions of the Asia Circuit. Asia. Circuit.
Electrical cord.
Asia.
Just kidding.
I still think of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged movie. If you need me, hey guys, if you need me over here, I'm Asian.
Oh my god.
Okay, so anyways, we'll get on with set. Yeah, so this has Grand Blue, Aquaphor, Steep Police. If you are new to our channel or anything, and how we do this is we're going to go over the triple R's and the VRs of the set and discuss them a little bit and go from there. So first up will be Grand Blue. Zach, go ahead.
Alright, so the first card is triple rare. It's the grade 2 Ruin Shade. It's a 9k, 5k shield. It's got 2 skills. One is auto, Vanguard, or rearguard circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, cost, put 2 cards from the top of your deck into your drop zone. And this card gets 4,000 until end of battle. And then its second skill is continuous only on rearguard circle during your turn. If there are 10 or more cards in your drop zone, this unit gets 4,000 power. So once it hits that 10, it gains that 4,000 regardless. But until then, you're just fueling other skills by getting cards in the drop zone.
Yeah, and the cool thing too is, yeah, if you're doing this early, it hits that nice 13 number. So if I don't know, for whatever reasons or something, you're not at that sweet spot of having the 10 cards in your drop zone, you can still hit Force Clans, which is very important. Very, very important.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah, it mills the deck. It does what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a solid card. Next one is the one I hate this card. Just because I hate this. I've hated this since the first season. Just his art and everything. He bothers me.
Him in general.
So yeah, it's Dandy Guy Romario. He's the other triple R of the set. He's a grade 1, 8k, 10k shield, all that fun stuff. And his skill is continuous rearguard circle. If there are 10 or more cards in your drop zone, this unit gets power plus 4, 4,000. And then auto, when rode upon, cost counterblast 1, and put a card from your hand into your soul. Put the top 3 cards of your deck into your drop zone, and put a card from your drop zone into your hand.
So it's obviously, because this deck is going to be a protect deck, it's almost like ride into grade 1, kind of like how Oracle Think Tank does their Circle Magus, and then when they ride on top of that into a grade 2, then they get a skill off of it, which helps them. Well, even more helps them even more if they were to ride that card first, because it's got a skill that helps the game progress even more. So definitely a solid card just because of that second skill.
Second skill, yeah, and then even if you don't get into it, at least it's got that he gains plus 4k too. That's a nice.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, so he can even hit. Just by himself, he can hit some of the Excel Vanguards and Protect Vanguards by himself, if you're desperate enough.
If you're desperate, which sometimes you're gonna be.
Which does happen from time to time.
Alright, so the next one is actually the VR for Grand Blue. It's Demonic, or King of Demonic Seas, Baskirk, grade 3, Protect gift. And its skill is continuous Vanguard circle during your turn. If your drop zone has 10 or more cards, this unit gains 5,000 power and +1 crit. And then its second skill is an act once per turn. Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. Call a card from your drop zone to rearguard circle, and this unit gains 5,000 power until the end of turn for each grade of that unit. BS.
I like it.
I don't like him. He annoys me.
I think he's really good.
He's really offensive, and it's just annoying. It's just annoying. Gains a crit for no reason because they got 10 or more cards in the drop zone, which they're gonna reach no matter what, because Grand Blue. And then he gains 5,000 power, and then he gets to call something, and he gains 5,000 power for each grade of that unit, which naturally you're gonna want to max out most of the time if you can.
I think he's a solid card. He's always got the crit. That's pretty cool. And then if you call something on top of that, he's gonna gain more power on top of that. But and he doesn't. You don't necessarily need to re-ride all the time like with Imperial Daughter.
Yeah. No.
You always have to re-ride with Imperial Daughter because you're wanting to get the protect gift
the on-ride skill, even
the on-ride skill of, and then being able to get the 15k plus crit. But this guy can get up bigger numbers just by himself with not having to re-ride. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so save more of those grade 3s for defense.
Yeah, or
if you get any.
just tossing them out and whatever, because I know there's cards that can do that too. So, all right, so that's pretty much it for Grand Blue. What do you think? Grand Blue impact for? I mean, pretty much the impact for Standard is that we're gonna have another clan in the Standard. But I mean, what do you think it'll do in Standard?
Well, I do think that it's going to be good. Like, I'd say I don't think it's going to be top 3. And this is all going to change really quick too because the Destructive Roar comes out like that same month.
It's already out.
Oh yeah, or in Japan it is. Yeah.
Yeah, this is after that.
Well, even for us, like that comes out August 2nd, and then this pack comes out the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, even in the same month, it'd be the very end. But
on 2 weeks, and we get a Shout of Helden drop deck.
So the meta's gonna change really quick for
Standard
for this, but it's just like I think that it'll do pretty good.
I think it's a really solid deck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it'll be top 3, but it's definitely a really solid deck.
It's definitely no pushover.
And and when we say top 3, that means most consistently top. But any one of these decks can top because they're all pretty much.
They're all on that same.
Right there. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So that's it for premium.
Premium.
Do you think anything for premium?
I actually don't think that they've ever really been good. Well, I mean,
Night Rose was beast
good, yeah.
for the longest time. I don't think it'll do anything for premium.
I don't know.
Too much. Not too much.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some skills that are a lot better. Like, it'd improve it more than likely, but it's just not going to be amazing.
I'm saying how this isn't going to do too much for premium, and then someone's going to come up with some busted turn. Some super busted turn. Like with D-Robos, or the D-Police stuff with the... I think it was Commander Laurel.
Yeah.
Someone already showed a combo. He's like attacking for like 110 or something like that. For premium. I can't remember. Okay, anyways, let's move on. Moving on to Aquaforce. Some drool there? Yeah. Aquaforce, which is the clan that people are just bitching about.
Yep.
So let's go into it, and that's the first one that we're going to talk about is the Grade 2 Triple R Title Assault. That OR, by the way, is freaking sexy. I know it's the old art, but that OR is nice. Play the OR. Anyway, so its skill is Auto Rearguard Circle once per turn. When it attacks, cost Soul Blast 1, stand this unit, and if it is the second battle of this turn or more, it gets minus 5,000 power until end of turn.
So, it's only really good if you're on an Excel circle with that card. Or if you've gotten a trigger with your grade 3.
Yeah, or you're going...
Or it attacks a rear
first.
guard. You're attacking rear guards.
Yeah.
Or
you don't have to attack the Vanguard with this. You can just attack a rear guard. And...
So it's a decent card. I'm not too fond of it, really. But it's still a good card for Aquaforce as well. Because they've always done stuff like that, to be honest. They've always lost some power to restand crazy amount of times, but then most of the time they can get it back, you know? And that's what takes a good player to play them. Because, you know, a stupid player is going to play that card on a rearguard circle that's not going to have any power, like the Excel circle, and then it'll restand, it'll only be at 4, they'll have to get a trigger, otherwise it's not doing anything. Unless it's boosted. I feel like it's definitely a good card, and I think it's pretty balanced because it requires Soul Blast, and you only have a certain amount.
That's true.
It's a little limited still.
That's true. Yeah, and they're already counterblast heavy as is. So.
Yeah, I think they needed a little bit of Soul Blast.
I like it. I think it's a good card.
I think it's decent.
All right, so next card.
Yeah. So it's the Storm Rider Diamantes, grade 3, and it does have the Excel gift marker. Its skill is Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, if it is the first battle of that turn, this unit gets 3,000 power until the end of turn. And then its second skill is once per turn when it attacks, if it is the third battle or of that turn or more, cost Counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, stand this unit, and it gets minus 3,000 power until end of turn. So it balances out by restanding it and getting an additional attack. That's going to be, again, if it's on a rearguard circle, Excel circle, it's going to be massive. So it almost balances out by getting that minus 3k. As well, you have to Counterblast 1 and discard a card.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps out when you're doing Maelstrom and you're trying to get in those third and fourth attacks and they're trying to be the big massive ones. That way they actually get through and you can restand. So in order to make that a little more even, yeah, dropping a card definitely makes sense to me. Because otherwise it's just like a Counterblast 1 restand minus 3k. Who cares? You know?
I
think it's pretty balanced. I think it's pretty good.
You know, before I would have said the CB1 is enough. CB1 and you probably shouldn't have to drop cards. CB1 and minus 3 to restand is fine. But now that we've actually been playtest, not we, but someone in our group has been playtesting Aquaforce quite a bit. So seeing some of it in action, I think it's balanced.
It almost makes sense because
it does make sense.
They
Absolutely.
seem to attack a lot more than Nova Grappler.
Yes.
But it makes it more balanced because they're either weaker or they're dropping more cards, more defense. Whereas Nova Grappler attacks a little less, but usually with more power.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I think it balances it out pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's balanced really well.
Then,
It did. I will say too. Before it did kind of irritate me that it gains +3, just on the first battle, and then afterwards it loses 3. So they kind of clashed a little bit, but it makes sense. It really does. It really does make sense. So getting on to the next one, which is the VR the set. That's grade 3 Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom. The other card people are miffed about.
don't understand why.
Oh, we'll get on to that in a second. He's Excel. He's 12k, obviously, all that fun stuff. So his skill is Act Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, cost Counterblast 1. All of your units in the front row get +3 until end of turn. Also, auto Vanguard Circle once per turn. When your rear guard's attack hits a Vanguard, if it is the third or fourth battle of this turn, cost discard 2 cards from your hand, stand this unit.
I think it's pretty good. So I don't know why there's so much complaining. It's a lot of complaining.
I thought he was, again, I'll say this: I was kind of I wasn't upset as some people were. I was thinking he was more kind of meh. I was a little upset at the Counterblast 1 for +3 to the front row. That seems just like annoying. A hefty cost for +3 to front row. And then also, I don't like that he restands.
Might just be the
and
Kagero
he's pretty much that's probably it. And he's free. He's like I discard 2 to restand, which you still have twin drive. But again, after having seen some of this stuff in action,
it's a really good card.
It's actually a pretty good card.
And it just, again, it goes to the fact that they attack so many times, sometimes less, sometimes more even. Like, again, from experience, we've seen those attacks go up to like in the 30s, and then it's 30s, so hard 40s. To guard that we kind of have to let it through. And Maelstrom restands. That's another twin drive.
He's
possibly
just
more triggers.
He's a constant pressure unit. Exactly. He's on field, and he's just constantly pressuring with and it does force the player to have to somewhat play smart. They have to make use of their Excel circles a little bit more because of the power. And not rely so much on... I mean, if you get a trigger, that's nice, but if you don't want to have to rely on drive track and triggers all the time either. I think he's a really solid card. I don't think he's OP.
He's not as good as Overlord, but they're also 2 different decks. They're going to play differently,
I don't know. We'll talk. I guess we can talk a little bit. I don't understand some of the fuss from the Aquaforce players.
There's a lot.
Because everyone is complaining about it.
It's complaining. Too much complaining.
I feel like some of the Aquaforce players might have just wanted super OP shit.
I think most of them are comparing it to cards from G, and that's a little ridiculous because this is not G anymore. This is standard.
To be fair, that's what a lot of people were doing too.
I'm sure.
I mean, like we were doing it too.
Yeah.
Like even even in the beginning when Q4 was coming out, we're like looking at it and like, well, this is okay.
Well, that makes sense. But compared to what we've seen already come out, we all changed our opinions on what the stuff would be when it's released.
I agree.
Got a little more related to the cards that came out. So we thought, okay, it would make sense if this is what happened instead of attacks plus 30,000 restands and, plus a crit every time, guard restricts as well.
I heal a damage and I heal 3 damage.
That's not how it's gonna be. And there's also a lot of people who are considering doing standard or premium instead of standard. So then they want it to work a lot better with premium, which is fine. But I feel like the deck is being made for standard. If you can make a build for premium, that's cool. But the decks are being made for standard. If it's gonna work in standard. Otherwise, it's only a bonus in premium.
They have to make it and cater the deck towards standard, and then that's the priority. Mm-hmm. And then if so happens that it comes out and it actually creates some busted combo in premium, I just feel like they probably don't really give a crap. Because premium's just already so wrecked sometimes anyways.
It's just cheap.
I'm talking to you, Oracle Think Tank.
But it's just like, the deck is made and it's built and it's for standard. But I think there's a lot of Aquaforce, or a lot of people in general who just want it to be focused for premium, and that's the wrong kind of attitude to have. Wrong kind of mindset to have.
No, by the way, just my comment from earlier. No offense to OTT players. This is coming from a guy who still has his ZTV deck and still does well with it, and I get an extra turn. So like that's bullshit in and of itself. So
So just kiss that
Good
ass.
time.
It's okay.
No,
Okay.
it's
I'm sorry, OTT. Please don't hurt me.
no, it's funny.
You're
'cause
just rolling over and showing your belly.
no, it's funny because it's like, here I am, unguardable turns, but
Right.
like I get an extra turn, so
Right.
like I really can't complain. Whatever.
But anyway, I think we've got it down pretty good. So
All right, so Aquaforce. We were
standard.
talking about people complaining.
Yeah.
Aquaforce for premium.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, no.
Aquaforce for standard.
I think it's gonna do just as good. Not gonna be top 3, but I think it's gonna do just as good. You know, possibly just as good as Grand Blue is gonna do. I'm not 100% sure if it'll do better than like Nova Grappler, for example. It
I think
very
it
well
will.
could, because they can hit for either higher or lower numbers, but they swing more times. As well, they do have a restanding Vanguard.
I think it will. I think it's easier for them. Some of their stuff is just easier to pull off.
That's true.
And then the other thing, like I was telling him earlier, like the other thing you got to take into example is Nova Grapplers. Not a lot of people play Nova Grapplers.
Also very true.
So that's why you don't see too many tops with them. You usually see a few still.
Hurts my feelings.
But Aquaforce is there's a lot of
There's a
people
lot
that
of
are
people.
just obsessed with Aquaforce. So I think you will see it be topping more. But I don't think I'd put it in the top 3 either. All right, so the last one, which is the Police.
Dimension Police.
Dimension Police.
Okay, wait. I have to scream out justice every time I ride or attack.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so
it is required if you're going to use the clan.
justice.
Just
My ultimate. Okay, yeah. So the first card, the triple rare, is Grade 2 Dimensional Robo Die Dragon. His art looks sexy as hell, by the way. It's 5k or a 5k shield and a 10k attacker. So his skill is act Vanguard or Rearguard Circle once per turn, costs Soul Blast 1, and one of your Vanguards gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. And then a second skill is continuous Rearguard Circle. If your Vanguard's power is 35,000 or greater, this unit gets plus 10,000 power. Busted. Just kidding. It's a really good card, though.
It's a very good
Because
card.
it helps out. It helps out build power to, like, Dayusha, for example. Because that's the one you're going to... 35 or higher is just an example for that. And then if it gets to that's minimum requirement for that critical, then this card gets powered up, too. And all it costed you was a Soul Blast. From that card.
So I think you're already starting to see what's the favorite clan of this set.
Uh-huh. It's gonna be Beast.
Alright, so we'll go on to the next one, which is Grade 3, next triple R, which is Grade 3. And that is Super Dimensional Robo Dayusha.
I'm
gotta-
hearing metal clanking.
You gotta
and,
scream it at the top of your lungs, like,
Man.
Kote?
Yeah, Kote.
Jesus. Okay, so his skill. Continuous Vanguard Circle. If this unit's power is 35k or greater, this unit gets critical +1. Act Vanguard Circle once per turn. Cost, rest any number of your rear guards, and for each unit that was rest for the cost, this unit gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn.
It's only once per turn, though. So you can use it more than once, because it's rest any number of rear guards, but it depends. Like you can really reach that 35,000 power like nothing, but you have to have this rear guard support, and as well, because you're losing that support, you're losing potential power. I think they can gain it right back. They have that potential, but it just depends on its situation.
Well, and the other thing is too that 35k it gains a crit also applies to trigger checks.
Yeah.
So if you're boosting it, you've got the Force Gift or something onto him, and he's 23k, and you got a booster or something, just a normal 8K booster, he's swinging in for 31, you get a trigger.
It's there.
It's there. He gets plus crit automatically. And if they're stupid and they no guard you, there you go. You got it.
So guarding him is going to be pretty difficult. People are going to be over guarding him like crazy just in case.
Which is what
Naturally.
that's naturally what D police do. We've always had to overguard the Vanguard, even with guard break. Guard break was a thing, and we have to overguard against the Vanguards then too. So I don't know.
Still a good card. Crazy
very,
awesome card.
very good card. Yes.
Beast. All right, and the final card, the VR for D Police. Just kidding. Not really kidding. It's Ultimate Dimensional Robo. Great Dayusha. Lightning in the background, metal clanking together. Imagination.
Okay, you gotta hear my sigh and his drool. He's drooling.
Okay, now I'm drooling.
Yeah.
So its skill is Vanguard Circle. When placed, 3 of your front row units get 10,000 power until end turn. That's boss. Secondly, in hand skill. At the end of the battle, that your grade 3 Vanguard attacked, if that unit's power was 45,000 or greater, and it was not placed during this turn, cost Counterblast 1. Ride this unit as stand, and it gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So, if you did it the right way, ride Dayusha, Force Gift, hit that 35 and all that, attack, he's got plus crit, he's going to be guarded, and then you superior ride this dude without having to drop anything.
No, because you can't
ride.
ride.
It's got to be 45. It's got to be 45.
No, you can't ride.
Oh, not on that turn. Not on that turn. The turn afterwards.
Yes.
The turn afterwards.
Then you can do it.
But you're still attacking for 45 or greater, plus a crit, obviously, because of that, you should. And then you superior ride this dude without having to drop anything from your hand.
And the Force Gift will go off.
Force Gift.
So
Plus 10 with his own skill.
He'll be 20. That'll be 23-33.
And then
right?
plus 10 to the front row.
Plus 10 to the front row. That's 43. Plus his own skill. That would make him 53.
Which is awesome. And then as well, cards like Die Dragon gain plus 10 if your Vanguard's power is over 35, which obviously it's going to be. So then it's 20,000 power stacked onto that rearguard circle.
And then the new Commander Laurel.
And Commander Laurel. It's going to be crazy.
That was like a little girl squeal.
It was. Because, man, I cannot contain my excitement for this deck. It's going to be messed up. It's justice. I don't care for the justice part, but it's big fucking robots.
I don't like this. Give me Dragonic Overlord at the end that does the same, then I'll be happy.
No. You got Waterfall, and you're going to get Novel Vague. So
Novel better do that.
No.
Superior Ride,
no.
Retire the field.
No, because then you'll have a Restander Overlord, which you're probably going to ride first anyway. Then you got Waterfall.
Yeah, that's what I want. Ride Overlord.
No.
Attack. Restand. No. Attack again. Superior Ride Novel Vague, who retires full field. And he attacks.
No.
And guard restraint.
No. No. You're asking for a crazy OP Overlord hybrid.
Yes, I am.
Remix. No. So anyway, D Police. How's it gonna do in standard? I think it's gonna mess the whole game up. It's gonna be top 3 for sure. I think it's gonna kill Takakaze. Absolutely.
I guarantee it's gonna be number 2.